All right, this week in the shop we have this beauty here. So I guess disclaimer on the video, whatever I'm doing. Don't try to do anything that I'm doing. Blanket statement. This contains high voltages and can be lethal. So I would not recommend going in and poking around stuff like this if you don't know what you're doing. Also, if you enjoy the video, consider giving a thumbs up or subscribing. We've got more stuff, or this is going to be a multi-part project thing, and after that we've got a couple more really interesting items we're going to have a look at and toy with, and we might actually build a couple tube amps and a couple things like that. So if I get any traction, we'll have some fun. This was picked up for the low price of $125.99 several years ago. It's been waiting quite a while. So what we have is a Roberts 770X reel-to-reel tape recorder and player. In what would arguably be good condition. Does have some nice schmutz on the outside. Comes with one reel and some crud in there. I don't think we're going to try to save the reel-to-reel portion of this unit. I can already, I can hear the internet already. Guys, I hate to tell you this, but an audio format that gets worse every time you listen to it is probably not worth hanging on to. I'm sure there are plenty of collectors out there that will swear by this and they listen to reel-to-reel tapes and they just love it, and that's fine for them. We're more interested in the lower section of this unit. The top section will be removed, extricated, as it were. If somebody wants it, leave a comment. I'll see what I can do. There's probably a lot of good parts in here. If you have one, if you want to keep it running, then so be it. I'm not against that. It's just not my thing, man. This top portion is just way too much trouble for too little return. On the other hand, the bottom portion does contain a stereo tube amplifier. It's not a huge performer. It's not a lot of wattage, but it's bound to sound good, especially when repaired and tuned up and given some loving care. It's really nice. It has these side ventilation doors, so when it's operating, you can open those up. We do have the power cord in the back. It does have a built-in fan, which I'm sure is completely seized. Again, side ventilation. And there's that unit. So I guess the first order of business is we're going to take the outer casing off, take this out, and have a look at it. Just give it a good visual inspection. Have a look at what's inside of it. I know we got some vacuum tubes. I've downloaded the manuals. I have those. I have a complete complement of tubes for it. And I have a tube tester. So we can go through and pull these out and see what's good, what's bad, see how many hours are on it, and see what we can do. But the actual plan, probably at the end of the day, would be to remove this unit, get this extricated off of there, get all the wiring and everything going to it, removed, disabled, tucked away, whatever it needs to be, then build a nice case just for this, and just use our line ends, come into it, send it out to a pair of speakers, and see how it sounds. So what we'll do is we will take a break on this video. We'll pause you guys. I'll get out the manual for it so I can have a look. We'll take some screws out of the case, and we'll come back to me getting this out of here. Okay, well, we just popped the back off real quick. And I just want to get a good... So, when you take the metal cover off the back, it disables these pins here. We have our probably audio out transformers are right here and here. This is completely dead. It hasn't been plugged in since probably 10 years. These are probably our power transformers. This is two completely separate, independent stereo amplifiers. They each have their own rectifier. They each have their own power transformers, output transformers. Nothing is shared between the two of them. So that's kind of an interesting design, and one of the reasons I kind of picked it up. Down here, it actually looks pretty clean. So I don't see a lot of garbage in there. It has an odd, smells like your grandma's purse in there for some reason. I don't know. It kind of has a weird perfumey kind of smell. So that's initially what we have. Everything looks pretty good. There's very little dust. I don't think this is probably a super low hours unit. So what we'll do is we'll go in here and we'll dig a little deeper and we'll try to pull this out of the case. Okay, probably a bad idea to do this one-handed, so we're going to put you back on the camera stand here. A little bit better camera work for this video, hopefully. Got a different camera. And hopefully we can just get in there. You'll be able to see what's going on. I can zoom you in and out. Alright. So we have the screws in the front. Those come off. That releases these right here. So we have these. In the back, I had a couple DIN plugs. These connect to this DIN plug on the side. I don't know whether this goes out to an auxiliary speaker set or whatever. These are not air vents that I thought they were. These are actually small speakers up in here. So it's got like a 3-inch there. It's very, just looks terribly small. I can't imagine them being very loud. This also has, right here, these clips. And I believe this was made to just come out. So we have a cable here. I think that one can be left in. Or it can just be left out. These two have to unplug to get this out. And then once you take off those front grills, you can see back here, here's the tube complement. You have 3, 4, 5 tubes there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 tubes here. The reason why is one of these contains a tube for the crossfield head erase. I believe it's a head erase, so it's a biasing something. It runs that. So they're almost identical. So I went ahead and undid the screws. I'm going to see if we can get around here, release this latch, and maybe, just maybe, this will come out as a unit. Wow. That did. That came out as a unit with very little fuss. Okay, so we have one wiring harness here that probably unplugs in there. We have another one here, another one here. So what we're going to do is we'll go in there, we'll figure out where those go to, and we'll see if we can get those unplugged. In the meantime, I'll give you a little close-up view of the top, so you can see what is inside this thing. Love that big VU meter. Just classic late 50s, early 60s kind of look. Alright, so we'll get in here and we'll find out what we can get done and get this loose and have a good look at it. Alright, so we were able to get that disconnected from the tape unit. It was actually very easy. We have one RCA type connector here. We have another RCA type connector here. And then we have a plug. And of course, I don't know what these are until we can look at the schematics, have a look at the wire colors, but I'm going to imagine that's some kind of a control. And then we have another plug here, which I imagine is probably the power going out. Some of the switches where this goes to on the front panel can give us clues. This actually goes to these on the top panel, which is a phono playback input and a preamp output. So I think that's going directly to the tape head. So we do have this unit disconnected from this now, so we should be able to safely take this away and put it off to the side. Before we do, let's have a look inside there. Let me grab the camera. You gotta appreciate the workmanship they went through. So let's just have a nice look there. That thing weighs a ton, by the way, just so we are clear on that. This probably weighs about 25, 30 pounds just itself. And I'm not going to do anything more to this. I might have to salvage this plug off of here. Wow, look at that old capacitor there. Capacitor or something, whatever it is. Anyways, I'm going to leave the speakers in it. We do have a motor start capacitor. The motor's in there. And, wow, and it still turns. It still turns very nicely. The belt is still not even cracked. That's amazing. All right, well, let's get this on the floor, and then we'll have a look at these other two units. It's actually pretty amazing just how good a shape this is in. It does have some mildew, but not water damage. This is probably all surface that could be cleaned off. A little dust, but other than that, fine. The power cord, I mean, it's still soft. It hasn't been kept in a very hot environment. We're up here in Washington State, so you know it can get hot here, but not desert hot. So I imagine this has been in a basement, you know, fairly humidity controlled environment. Like I said, even the belts are still fine. It's better than the belt on the bookshelf radio was. That's for sure. Yeah, just no dead bugs in the bottom. Nothing. It's actually pretty impressed at how well this is held up. We are missing a control here. I don't know. This is a play record, and it does have. It's seen some muddy hands on it, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape. And as an added bonus, it does come with one Sony reel. So, hooray! All right, well, we'll get this off the bench. Enough of that. We'll get it off the bench, and we'll have a look at this other unit. Well, I think that's about enough for today. We got these out, and I was able to go through and at least mark a little bit of what was in the case. Those speakers appear to be driven like off the preamp. They're not coming off the main. But I got the power traced out coming in because we do have a 50-60 hertz switch, and I need to know which one, when it's set on 60 hertz, it's going into over here. So we got these apart. We got the left and the right. I'm going to leave them here on the bench. This is a power plug coming in, as we have on this one, the blue and the red. The power goes out of this through a jack into this one through it's kind of like a standard plug, and that's through the power switch. So we can at least get it powered up. I'd rather get a current limited supply on this, get a light bulb or something on it to bring it up, rather than just throw the spurs to it, because I don't want to damage anything more. It's pretty much of a pain in the ass to get to everything in there. And so the least amount of damage I can do is probably best. Looks like all the original tubes are in there. They're all NEC. The rectifier does look like it got a little hot, so I don't know why. I did identify that smell. I kept on smelling, and I thought to myself, I know what that is. I know what that is. And it occurred to me. Incense. the thing smells like incense. So, you know, if you're going to throw on your record of the Mom and the Papas and, you know, blaze up a little bit with your reel-to-reel blaring, I suppose you're going to want to burn some incense so your parents don't find out. At any rate, that's what we got so far. We're going to put this on the bench and get a bulb set up on this thing, 100-watt incandescent, just to kind of limit the current going into this. I don't have a variac, and I should throw the spurs to it, but I just really don't want to have to fix anything more than I don't have to. So that's what we're going to do for now. We will catch this again probably in a day or two. So stay tuned.